Now on our left here we have a watering hole. This can sometimes serve as a popular gathering spot for animals out here in the forest, and looks like we actually have someone just up ahead here over on the left on this cliff here. It's a black rhino. Now surprisingly enough, this is going to be the smaller of the two African rhino species. But still, they have no natural predators. Their only threat is us humans, and unfortunately due to poaching, there's less than 5,000 in the world today. There is help though. Programs like those funded by the Disney Conservation Fund and organized by other ACA accredited associations are helping to revive the black rhino population and reintroduce them into the wild once again. Now we got a couple of types of antelope here on our right. The more lightly colored one there walking around is a greater kudu, and the orangey ones scattered around are bongos. Bongos are nicknamed the ghosts of the forest. These animals are so good at camouflage that they are actually rarely ever seen in the wild. The Sapi River.
Look at that.
Sapi River is going to be home to some more aquatic animals here on the reserve. One of the most common springs, these are pink-back pelicans. Pink-back pelicans get their name from the pink spot that's going to appear on their back during their mating season. It's a little bit like they're blushing at one another. Now, birds like pink-back pelicans are what we call an indicator species. Since most birds can fly, it's quite easy for them to move around. So they actually tend to be some of the first to leave if something is wrong with their environment. Being one of the first indications that an area just know they're mostly underwater and they're probably sleeping. If those are nocturnal animals, they'll sleep underwater and they naturally know when to pop up to the surface and grab a breath of air, as some of them have done. But that's why their ears, eyes, nose are all actually towards the top of their heads. That way they barely have to breach the surface to grab the air that they need. The hippos are also going to be very, very important to their ecosystems. They're what we call a keystone species. And a keystone species is any animal that its environment and everyone else lives there wouldn't be able to survive without. So by conserving keystone species like the hippos, we can actually help to ensure fully grown now crocodile. They are about 16 to 18 feet long, so they're as long as a giraffe is tall. Pretty big, but despite their size, they'll actually go weeks, if not months at a time without ever eating. However, when they do eat, they tend to eat about half of their body weight in a single feeding. And crocodiles are what we call opportunistic hunters. It means they're going to take an easy meal over a good meal. So unlike their prey, they have to go hunt and work for to capture. They are much more likely to eat anything they find just lying around like our trash. That's why it's really important that we don't litter. That way it doesn't end up in these animals' homes and they mistake it for food. Alright, we're heading over to the western savanna now, which is home to some of Africa's most iconic animals. And one of the signs that we're entering the savanna ecosystem is this baobab tree on our right. Now, it's nicknamed the Tree of Life, and it gets that nickname for its ability to store thousands of gallons of water just inside of its trunk. It might look kind of familiar as well. That tree is actually going to be what Animal Kingdom's Park icon is modeled. But we're greeted by a bunch of wildebeests here. Now, wildebeests are going to be the second most densely packed mammals on Earth. The only mammal that you'll end up finding more densely packed than a wildebeest is us humans. And wildebeest herds can be millions upon millions of wildebeest large. So large, in fact, that when they run around, they'll end up kicking up a dust cloud so big, you can see it from the International Space Station. Now you might notice that some of these wildebeest like to have kind of a glossy coat to them. They actually just secrete a lot of oil, but it makes them look like they're a little bit shiny. And if you've ever heard of an animal called a gnu, it is actually the same animal as a wildebeest. They get the nickname gnu after the sound they make, but their name means wild beast. Alright, now sleeping in this cave here, those are some African wild dogs. They're nicknamed the painted dogs because of the coloration of their coat. They're not very territorial animals, they're pretty social, and you can usually spot them hanging out in packs about 5 to 15 dogs at a time. We have a very close-knit group of brothers here on the reserve, actually. It does look a little bit like hyenas, but they're actually African wild dogs. Now they are amazing predators as well. They have about a 90% success rate in capturing their prey. They typically just run their prey out to exhaustion, which has become a pretty good strategy for them. However, one of the biggest threats to the African wild dog population are snare traps. And a unique way that you can actually help out the dogs is just by buying artwork that uses snare traps. That way it stays out of the savannah and it decorates our homes instead. It's a great way to practice those 3 R's as well: reduce, reuse, and recycle. It does seem like there's a little bit more wildebeest up ahead. There's also the Ankoli cattle here on our right. They're the British brownish animals with those really big horns. Now, Ankoli cattle are one of two domesticated species that we can find out here on the reserve. They're made of a very unique honeycomb-like structure on the inside. This will allow for blood to flow through the horns. That disperses heat and it cools down the cattle. Grazers are any animal that acts sort of like a lawnmower, and they are constantly eating their grass. This is what leads to a lot of low grassy areas that are going to allow us to see throughout the entire savanna so clearly. You can actually see through it pretty clearly here if you look over on your right. But it's also why the savanna gets the nickname of the grasslands. Alright, now it looks like we're going to pass by a couple more baobab trees up ahead here, and another nickname for the baobab tree is the upside down tree. Because when it doesn't have its leaves, it does sort of look like it grew upside down and its roots are sticking out. But the baobab tree usually will go leafless for about 9 months throughout the year to help out with its water retention. And it looks like hiding out back behind this baobab tree, we have some African elephants. Even a baby elephant's kind of standing front and center there. So seeing as there is a younger elephant here, I guess it's one of the family herds, and they tend to live in a matriarch. It means that the females are the ones in charge. The oldest female in the herd is going to remember information like migration patterns and nearby food and water sources, which will pass down from one leader of the herd to the next. That's one of the reasons why elephants are known for their incredible memories. Because of this though, when male elephants grow up, reaching the age 15, 16, they tend to leave these big family groups to hang out in solitude, or occasionally they form small bachelor groups of other males. And I will say this is quite young for these elephants to leave their families. They age very similar to us. So it'll be the same as us leaving our homes at 15 to go off on our own. Alright, now it looks like around the corner from these elephants here, we have a whole flamboyance of flamingos.
Oh, kiddo, look here.
Now, a flamboyance is what you call a group of flamingos. And take a look at that island that they're standing on there as well. This is actually a hidden Mickey. Now these here are greater flamingos. They are the tallest and the lightest pink of all flamingo species. They get their pink color from their diet. It's very rich in a compound called beta-carotene. And flamingos eat a lot of brine shrimp, which is abundant in that beta-carotene. If you see any smaller birds there though, with a little bit more of a grayish, whitish color to them, those are actually baby flamingos who just haven't eaten enough brine shrimp yet to develop the vibrant pink color that we all know them for. It usually takes about 2 years to fully develop. Whatever they want, so I appreciate your patience if we're kind of soft or slow for a little bit here. I bet they're heading away from the mud wallows, which is going to be that little mud pool you can kind of see over there on our left. But lots of animals like to come to these mud wallows to sleep in, hang out in, or roll around in that mud to help them stay cool. It acts as a really good natural sunblock for them, and it's a really good bug repellent as well. Now, we'll be honest with you guys, these rhinos probably are heading over to their bed. So we'll kind of see how we can get over there in time.
I think I saw a lion.
I think you did see a rhino as well. A lion?
Oh, wow.
Well, that's not good if you saw a lion. Keep heading on over that way and hope we can grab a close look at these rhinos. Now these are white rhinos, and white rhinos are going to get their name not from the color of their skin. It's a mistranslation of the Afrikaans word "weit" that means wide. They have a wider mouth than most of the rhino species do, and I think we're looking at a closer look at that. And you are right in the front row there. There are some cheetahs coming up here over on the left as well. Now cheetahs are the fastest land animals. They'll reach speeds of 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. However, they can't stay at that speed for very long, and it takes them quite a while to recover after a run. We are kind of holding for a rhino right now. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Are these things trying to get us?
We're actually going to have a baby rhino. Looks like pretty close to the truck here over on the right. Disney has 3 baby southern white rhinos here on the reserve that we are so happy about. When fully grown, they can be about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, and we cannot wait to see them get that big. So we'll sneak past these cheetahs and...
Oh wow, he's going across.
And we got a rhino coming out into the road here, so we're going to hang out here for a moment. Thought we might be able to sneak past him. Now, a group of rhinos like this is called a crash, and that's because their eyes are on the sides of their heads, so they don't have the greatest vision. They can only see about 10 to 15 feet in front of them, and it makes them a little bit clumsy.
So big, kiddo.
Bye-bye.
Bye rhinos, bye cheetahs. We're going to keep moving throughout the savannah here and see who else we can find. That was really cool to get that close to some of those animals. It's going to serve as a great vantage point for them to look down over their prey. If we're lucky, we will sometimes see some big cats like lions over here, but the lion does not sleep tonight. They're a nocturnal animal, sleeping about 16 to 20 hours a day. So So there's a chance they could be hiding away right now and trying to get some sleep. We'll pull around the copie, see if we can find anyone. The reason lions are nocturnal animals is because their vision is 6 times better at night. So females much prefer to go out and hunt then. Males tend to stay back because they like to go for the copie and any cubs that may be there. But they really need to know all the rest they can get during the day to be better prepared for those activities come nightfall. And it does look like all the lions might be sleeping right now, so we'll let them rest. It's sort of the middle of the night for them. Pull around the copie and see if we can find anyone else. Now on our left here we do have some warthog burrows. However, warthogs tend to be a little shy around people. Like to hide away when there's not a human activity. So they could be nestled pretty deep in those burrows. Maybe you'll catch a glimpse of one. I do see some more fence up ahead for us to see. Over on the right are going to be some waterbuck. They're a type of antelope. Now they get their name because they like to hang out near aquatic. Because though they're not a very migratory species, they tend to stay wherever the water is. And if they do want to move around, they do so along rivers. So elephants are unfortunately suffering from habitat loss, which is pushing them closer and closer to human civilization and causing lots of issues for farmers. Farmers are finding that elephants are either eating their crops or trampling over their crops and wanted a way to start safely deterring them. With research we conducted right here on the reserve, we actually helped to discover that elephants are afraid of bees. They don't like the vibrations that the bees buzzing gives off, it freaks them out. We'll even go as far as to warn other nearby elephants to stay away from an area that has bees in it. And as we talked about, elephants have those really great memories. So they remember to stay away from that place for up to 15 years. We told this to the farmers, they put some beehives on their farms and it scared the elephants away. It was a great solution as well because this provided a new habitat for bees who also suffer from habitat loss. And as a little bit of an added bonus, the farmers ended up getting some new pollinators for their crops, even some honey that they could sell if they wanted to. So this was sort of a win-win-win situation for everyone that was involved. Now if you want to help out a project like this, so you do have the opportunity to do so at any merchandise location in your animal kingdom, you can go ahead and make a donation to the Disney Conservation Fund. Disney will match every donation made dollar for dollar, penny for penny. And as a thank you, you will receive a Conservation Hero button. Alright everyone, with this though, we are leaving the reserve and heading back into the village where I will be dropping you all off. But I'm going to drop you off in the same exact place that I picked you up, so sit back, relax, we do have a little bit of a drive ahead of us still, but you get a nice little behind the scenes tour of Kilimanjaro safaris that not everyone else will get to see. Alright, now unfortunately all the animal facing attractions here at Animal Kingdom are closed.